Hey hockey fans, welcome to Goal Line Hockey. As today, we're going to take a look at the Calgary Flames as we continue the season outlook series. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe. Let's talk about the Calgary Flames. Alright, so let's talk about the Calgary Flames. Now, things went pretty well in Calgary overall this season. They finished first in the Pacific Division, and quite frankly, a division that's been pretty weak, but still, nonetheless, you win the division. And after last season where they missed the playoffs, this was definitely a step in the right direction for the Calgary Flames. They made some pretty big moves, trading for guys like Elias Lindholm, Noah Hannafin. Um, some pretty big moves that were made by the Calgary Flames. With that said, though, they played the team that backed into the Stanley Cup playoffs. It was a fight between five teams, that were all losing, and Colorado was that team. They lose in 6 games to the Colorado Avalanche. Now, Colorado has proved a lot of people wrong, especially on the East Coast, someone like myself, just how good that team really is. And, this isn't about the Colorado Avalanche, but Nathan MacKinnon and Philip Grubauer in between the pipes really held things up for the Avalanche and made things difficult on the Calgary Flames. Now, moving forward for the Calgary Flames, there's another team I wouldn't mind seeing a shakeup in the bottom 6. I'm not sure how much longer Troy Brouwer's contract is, but that's a guy you'd probably want to get out of there. James Neal, I don't know who takes that contract. That's another guy that you'd probably like to see get moved. They're going to be busy over there in Calgary. And a great season, and they make the playoffs, but it's a little disappointing when you win the division and you get knocked out by the second wild card team. So a pretty tough way to end it for the Calgary Flames. But with that said, the future looks bright. Like I said, they made that big trade last summer. I think Hannafin's a pretty good defenseman. He played really well with Travis Hamonic this summer, or this season. So, I think, defense, unfortunately, was an issue at points in this series. It was inconsistent at times. And the team, for some reason, they seemed a little bit slow. And I'm not talking about the Johnny Gaudreaus or the Sam Bennett's or the Sean Monahans, but some of those defensemen seemed a little bit slow. And I just talked about how good they are, but at certain points you could see that there was a little bit of a collapse in that third pairing. They just seemed a little bit off. And I don't know, Calgary, there's not a ton of moves I would make if I were the Flames GM, but there's definitely some things I would look over at the very least. Like I mentioned earlier, trying to move a guy like James Neal to free up some cap space this summer would be pretty big for the Calgary Flames. Move out a goalie, and I'm not sure how much longer Mike Smith and Dave Rittich's contracts are, but you need a new goaltender there in Calgary because Mike Smith, as much as I love him, as a personality and things like that, he wasn't able to get it done for the Calgary Flames. And Dave Rittich, same thing. They need a starter. They need 2 guys that can at least be competent starters, or at least somewhat competent, because this isn't good enough. It seems like this is one of their biggest weaknesses, and it really got shined in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And really, until game 1, nobody was sure who was starting. It was that contested, and is that a little bit of unassurance from the organization, or is it they just played so evenly? I'm not sure, but unfortunately, whether they made the right or wrong choice, they're out of the playoffs. Another big thing they have to do this summer. I'm going to do a whole video about all these RFAs and UFAs this summer, but what are they going to do with Tkachuk? Because he's due for a contract this summer, and he's going to make some money. So another reason why to get rid of that James Neal contract to help with that a little bit. But that's a guy they're going to have to sign, and he's not going to be cheap. So we'll have to see what the Calgary Flames do. Um, I think Bill Peters is safe, especially with how they did in the regular season. This is a really good step forward for the Calgary Flames, as upsetting as it was to get beat in 6 games in the first round of a wild card team. Is it really? Is there any really? Is there none of the teams that won their division in the first round got past the first round. So maybe you would have liked to be the team that didn't, but it's just that's how much parity there is in the NHL. If you make it, you have a chance, and Colorado proved that to many of us, including myself. Next year, I think they'll win a round. I think they're a good enough team, and if they're able to fix some of those things like James Neal and the goaltending, I think this team will be a pretty big contender for a Stanley Cup starting as soon as next season. Thank you for watching us here at Goal Line Hockey. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe. And I'll talk to you again soon. Make sure to check out our other season outlook series as the playoffs kind of wind down at this point. Have a lot to catch up on, but we'll make it work. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.